Commission is investigating whether Amazon and Google misled advertisers about the terms and pricing for ads on their websites. For more on this, Justin Teresi joins us. He antitrust and litigation and policy analyst for Bloomberg Intelligence. Justin, what's behind this U.S. Federal Trade Commission investigation?
Yeah, Paul. So that was announced last week. That related more to search advertising. But the big news we're really focused on right now is on Monday, Google's ad tech remedies trial starts in the Eastern District of Virginia. So this is following a liability ruling from last April. Basically, to break down kind of what that technology is, every time you visit a website, there's this little auction that takes place in a split second, under a second, I would say, that matches the right user with the right ad at the right time, and important for this case, at the right price. In April, it was found that Google had illegally monopolized the market for the sell-side platform that connects those websites with the right users and the exchange in the middle that operates the actual auction. So this now is deciding what to do about that problem. Really, it's a debate over, do we do a breakup? Do we have some rule changes? What's that going to look like?
Well, I mean, what is the case here for the company? I mean, what are Amazon and Google saying about this? What are they what are they doing with this?
So this one definitely relates. This is Google specifically, right? But here, what we're going to see next week coming up is, both sides really have some things in their back pocket. The DOJ is really going to be taking the position here that, look, Google can't be trusted. There are all these evidence destruction issues that were part of the liability trial last fall. They're also going to say, look, Google's offered to sell parts of its advertising exchange business in the past here. And in so doing, they really have made the point that it would be feasible to sell some of those things off. On the other side of the coin, Google, great team of lawyers per usual, they're really going to take the standpoint that, we do a really great job with security features. We protect publishers, website publishers, from malicious advertising and things like that might appear on their website. Also, I think they're very likely to take the position that, the trial itself, it was only about desktop ads. And the market's changing, right? We're going to see things about AI, about connected TV, about mobile ads and in-app ads. And things might be really headed that way. So the trial itself is about a technology that's on its way out in many ways.
Oh, by the way, Google, parent Alphabet, stock hit a 52-week high today. It's up 33% year to date. So the market doesn't seem to be too concerned about this. Is there a downside, unexpected outcome from this remedies part of the trial?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit out of consensus with my view on this. At the moment, I really do think that a behavioral remedy is more likely than a structural remedy. There's a much higher chance of a breakup in this case, and always has been.
Breakup of what?
Of Google's advertising business. I think specifically the advertising exchange in the middle would be the thing divested if it is. But the DOJ has got a lot of work cut out for itself here, I think, before it's able to make that case next week. I think it's going to really have to show that changing rules and perhaps opening up real-time advertising demand isn't going to be enough to solve the problem. They're really going to have to show that Google can't be trusted to keep that property.
What did the court find the problem is? I think, well, my personal opinion, I don't think there's a problem, but it's just the marketplace. But what did the court find?
Yeah, so time and time again, the court really listened to what website publishers were saying. They said, look, the reason why we have to use Google's sell-side platform is because we really want real-time demand from their ad exchange in the middle. And that's really what the court found, is that there's this tying problem between the two products. So the question is, to remove that tie, do you need to skip the court altogether or simply change the way that Google does business to solve the problem?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you mentioned earlier the DOJ has a lot of work cut out for itself, in particular with this, but then they also have so many other antitrust suits that are going on. What's the headline for you right now? What do you think is the biggest situation right now?
So obviously we've had a change in administration here. So, I think there are a lot of question marks about how DOJ and a lot of other agencies are really proceeding with antitrust and a number of issues right now. At the moment, we're still looking at a lot of cases, right? We just had a ruling in Google search on remedies. We're now looking at this remedies trial in the ad tech case, the FTC suit against Meta. The verdict is still pending there. We really haven't seen a plethora of new cases, though, from the DOJ antitrust division. There's been some word about shakeups in that particular part of the DOJ, too. So where we go from here is a really big question mark, but it does seem like status quo for cases that are already pending.
All right, Justin, thank you so much for joining us. Justin Teresi, antitrust and litigation and policy analyst for Bloomberg Intelligence.